I want to talk about your approach to design and how you learn to design and the different types of design that you do. Because I feel like there's design in everything. You know, the way that we put this room together, like shout out to our videographer, the way that he put these cameras and, you know what I mean, the positions that they're in, like it's all design, you know? So maybe talk about your approach to, or how you see design and kind of like, you know, when you're putting things together, maybe in your mind kind of how it makes sense, if you will.
Um,
And if that's too vague, I can help boil it down.
no, it's not. It's not vague. I think I just have a vision. It's certain things that like when I see it, I see exactly what it's supposed to look like, and it's just about getting it out onto whatever, right?
Is that the hardest part? Getting it out, like
Getting
getting
it
it on
out.
paper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you need help.
I
Right?
need help all the time. Like I need an executor. I'm the ideas guy. I need help putting it in action.
Yeah.
And then once I do, we're rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So it's just like I have I think more than anything, I know what's fresh.
Yeah.
I know what's
Tastemaker.
Yeah, I know what's going to be appealing to people. I know when
Right.
it's wrong.
That's even more important than knowing when it's right.
Correct.
You can argue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I study like colors and you know, I like look back like even with the Jordan 2. One of the main things is I thought about Jordan 2 isn't the most popular shoe like as far as like out of all the first 13 Jordans, right? So I knew, but there have been some amazing ones.
Yeah.
There have been some not so amazing ones, right? And the first thing I thought about is what's the connection of my favorite Jordan 2s? And that is a monotone or monochrome color palette.
That's crazy because the song "Shine" is off the Monochrome EP. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
my first brand, my original brand, I was starting my own brand, outside of what we had with Burn Rubber.
Yeah.
Was going to be called Monochrome, and that's why
Yeah.
it was called the Monochrome EP, because that's
Yeah.
what I was going to start going with that, and then everything would be monochrome,
That's
right?
crazy.
So like that shirt would just be like like tones of blue.
Tones of, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, or this would be tones of green, whatever's on it.
Right.
But with that, like if you look at the Vashti Jordan 2, it was all purple, and it had these purple tones.
Right.
The Just Don, the Don C Jordan 2s. You had a blue one. You had like a cream one. You had the pinkish color one.
Yeah.
The Ben 2 was all brown. Like
Yep.
even if you look at the original Jordan 2, it's just all white with little black hits here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was the first thing. So I'm like, whatever it is going to be, it's
Yeah.
going to have a flow from the front of the shoe from the back of the shoe to the front of the shoe. And then I thought like the different textures would kind of mix the color up.
Right.
So
Because you have suede in there, right? A little bit
yeah,
of
it's
suede.
suede, and even like the same color suede and nubuck, it's going to look different. It's going
Right.
to one of them is going to
That's
be
the
darker.
crazy part that people don't think of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And maybe that comes with experience, right? Just designing shoes for a long time and being around all the different types of fabrics. But like thinking like that outside the box is so different.
Yeah, yeah. So it was just things like that, you know what I'm saying, and just keeping it in that same color palette.
Right,
So-
right. I like what you said. I think this was the Weed Bar interview. You took the shoe off. You were really talking about it. That was one of my favorite parts of that interview because you took the sole out of the shoe. We'll get to that in a minute because that's my favorite part. But the different shades of brown is like a Detroit theme. You know, that's like a Detroit color kind of thing. You know, talk about the colorway a little bit and how you landed on brown instead of trying to like do something completely different and set a new wave. You know what I mean in Detroit.
Yeah. The thing about it was, being that this is our, 218's first shoe, period.
Right.
Not the first shoe I've ever been a part of, but
Sure.
and the magnitude of it, I didn't want it to be about me. I knew at a certain level of it, it's gonna be
That's huge.
it's gonna be about me. It's gonna be like in Pontiac, they like, yo, those are roast spit twos.
Right.
And I'm like, I've never said that.
Right.
But that's just a thing. So my thing is, it has to speak to Detroit. It has
Yeah.
to speak to this area. And what is that? It's like you start thinking of fall colors. You start thinking of
Yep.
what's different here than it is anywhere else, right? It's like we have different seasons.
Yep.
You can go to LA and, yeah, it's cold, but it don't even it doesn't feel different because the leaves are the same color as when I left.
Yeah, they're
the last
palm
time I was
trees.
there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here it's like they change colors, right? So
Right.
you know, we just kind of came to a place where it's like brown was this color that we felt represented the city.
Yeah,
you know
and
what
it
I'm
goes
saying?
with everything.
Yeah, it goes with everything. It's a neutral color.
Yep.
You start thinking about Pelly. You start thinking about Rockport boots, and you start the Timberlands, and it's just these. But even just people, regular people wearing regular sweaters.
Right.
He has a brown sweater on now.
Yeah, it would go
because
with
it's that time. It's just that time of the year.
Facts.
Right. And then so we knew that shoe would be coming out around that time, but that's just one more thing that kind of speaks to Detroit. And
or even
regardless
like
if the rest of the world don't understand why it's brown.
Right.
But you said what now?
I said even the Gucci coat goes perfect. You know, it's got the brown, the gold brown.
That's a good coat.
Yeah, I know. I saw you wearing that. I was like, I wonder if they sell that at 218.
No, not at 218.
Maybe not.
That's the Gucci store.
Yeah, I was on the website earlier and I was looking at a Jungles hoodie. Yeah. So
nice
I was gonna try to swing by and maybe cop.
Oh, that's appreciate it.
You know, if you have it in medium only though, I can't be going too oversized. You know what I mean?
Right.
It gets crazy. But no, yeah, I think the confluence of the shoe, you know what I mean, that monochrome kind of like how everything blends together is so cool because I think Detroit blends together.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like we were talking about suburbs earlier, Pontiac, Grosse Pointe, it doesn't matter. Like we can both call ourselves Detroiters. I think that's probably, part of the shoe that spoke to me, like, because I identify as a Detroiter, but I wasn't born in the city.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But no one can talk to me because I know my history with it. You know, I know what my place is here, and I contribute to it. So like, I can't be told that I'm not from here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, kind of going with that, I want to talk about the soul of the shoe because that's by far my favorite part. And I'll quote you by saying that when you put the soul of the shoe together, you wanted to put Pontiac on the map because you had never seen Pontiac on the map, so you made your own. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's
what inspired that?
Just that small city thing, man.
Yeah.
And feeling. At times over the years, feeling underappreciated, feeling unheard.
Right.
And like I identified growing up with NWA. Not from a super gangster, I'll kill you type thing. It was that these guys are from a place that I had never heard about.
Right.
Before they came, I'm not saying I was the oldest guy or the whatever, or that just knew everything, but it was just it's a place that was not on the map, and they're screaming it and talking about it like how I can't believe y'all don't know what this is.
Right.
Even if you don't, fuck you because that's where I'm from and that's what I represent.
Right.
And that aspect of it stuck with me, right? Because I kind of felt like, we put that when they would say we put Compton on the map. And then
they did.
Yeah, and they did. Literally.
Yep.
Like, but
they did.
From that day forward, it was like, all right, maps have to have Compton on it now.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with Pontiac. I didn't, you look at a map, you open something, you'll see Troy.
Right.
You'll see
in bigger letters.
Birmingham.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've never saw that. So my whole thing was the way my mind thinks is that if it's not there, like put it there.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. So that means and it could be on this table, right? It could be on this table. So every time I walk in here, I see Pontiac on the map.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. Yeah. That's where the thought process is the thought to do it, and the thought to get it onto to make it tangible. And if you do that, and you do it the right way, which is relative, right?
Sure.
But you do it the right way.
Because there's a right way for Detroit, and there's a right way for other cities.
Yeah, it's a right way for
Pontiac,
anything.
right?
It's a right way for a watch.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a right way to make a watch and make it a Rolex.
Yep.
But it's just I'm just saying whatever. So you make it tangible, and then it becomes infectious. And then that's what, just like NWA, they had a thought. Somebody thought, man, I ain't never seen my city on the map. Like we about to put everything here is incredible. So we about to do it. So my thing was now, I've always talked about Pontiac. Always. Every interview I've ever done, I say Pontiac this, Pontiac that. And then I'm like, okay, so now this is my chance to for real make my own map, because and it's not just in my house.
Right.
It's not just or like on my phone. This is like people all over the world are going to see this.
Yeah.
So what better platform to say, oh, y'all don't know about Pontiac as much as I've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Now you do, because the shoe's it's a global release.
It's a global release.
It's a global release.
Literally all over the world. My man just told me, my man Angel Chill. I was just with him in L.A. and DDG Pontiac. It was another amazing artist. He they're not related through marriage or whatever.
Sure.
But he was in Hawaii with his family.
Yeah.
And went in the store and saw the shoe and was like, yo, Pontiac, and they didn't have his size.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I took him a pair to give to him. You know what I'm saying? But just something like that is literally all over, like it went all over the world.
Yeah. That's got to be so cool to have that, I don't know if you call it level of control over a creative product, to the point where you can like share your vision, not just with Detroiters, because for the longest time, at least correct me if I'm wrong, you were sharing your vision with Detroit, but now you're sharing your vision with the world.
Yeah, to an extent, because like even like Nas, one of our New Balances, Nas bought in Japan.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so we've had things.
How'd you find out about that?
A mutual friend.
Yeah.
So a mutual friend, a friend of mine knows a person in his camp. Mm-hmm. And, so when they were over there, like she had talked to him.
Right.
And just random, like, yeah, my friends, they own the store in Detroit. You guys should come through next time you're in Detroit. So they would always have these conversations.
Yeah.
And then they were over there and saw the shoe and was like, yo, this is dope. And I guess whoever worked at the store was like, yeah, they're from the States. They're from Detroit. So he was like, and then he bought the shoe, and then the guy reached out like, yo, is that store you were telling me about, is that called Burn Rubber?
Yeah. And
then he was like, yeah. And I was like, did they just do a shoe or something like that? And it was like, yeah. And so without even knowing us.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool how the world kind of connected through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The world is so small, man.